Hello traders, this is Blake Morrow with ForexAnalytix, and I want to welcome you to the week ahead video for December 3rd, 2017. Before we get started, I just wanted to say I hope you guys took advantage of the Cyber Monday special offer that we had. It was just 24 hours. Well, actually it ended up being like 30 hours because we wanted to include the North American traders at that point. But anyway, I hope you took advantage of it. If you didn't, that's okay. You can still sign up for $1 for 10 days. You can try it out. You can download the mobile app and then see what our analysis does and really see if it's right for you. So hopefully you guys can do that and just take advantage of it by clicking this button here. And once you do that, you can log in, and this is what our page will look like. Now, before we get into the analysis of this week, I want to talk about, or this next week, I want to talk about the upcoming events that are happening this next week. There's a lot of them. So first of all, on Monday, we have the RBA decision. Now that's going to be actually Tuesday morning in Australia, but Monday evening for those of us here in North America. We do have current account and retail sales as well, and then the RBA decision. Matter of fact, there's a lot of Australia events, economic events happening this week. But on Tuesday, well, I guess I should also mention early Monday morning, the UK has construction PMI, but on Tuesday morning, the UK has services PMI, which is actually the more important of the PMI pieces of data that are coming out this week. But that's going to be Tuesday morning out of the UK. Also on Tuesday, we have our ISM services PMIs here in the US. Now it's an important number because this is non-farm payroll week, so it's going to be an important week for that data. Tuesday evening here in North America, or if you're in Australia, it's early Wednesday morning. Australian GDP is going to be released. On Wednesday, we have ADP non-farm or private sector employment change here in the US. Also on Wednesday, we have the Bank of Canada rate decision, which will be really interesting following the super strong Canadian jobs report, which we'll look at those charts here in a moment. Now, again, in Australia, Wednesday night or Thursday morning in Australia, we have trade balance. On Thursday, ECB President Draghi is speaking in Frankfurt, talking about as a press conference for the BIS, or the Bank of International Settlements, which he could be discussing monetary policy. That's on Thursday morning. And then on Friday, we have manufacturing production out of the UK, but more importantly, at least for a lot of us, is going to be the non-farm payrolls on Friday. So we have chock full of data, and that brings me to the fact that we should probably look at the Aussie dollar, which we will. So let's start off with the euro, and let's just go there. Okay, so first of all, the euro dollar, we held a pretty important trend line this week. You can see it right through here, and it was a little messy on Friday, but notice this big flag pattern that's developing. Now, also I should mention that that over the weekend, the Senate passed their version of the tax bill. There's still a few more things that need to be decided on or negotiated before it goes to the president's desk. But for all intents and purposes, we might have the dollar being bid up on Sunday night, Monday morning. If that's the case, the euro could start off a little weaker, but as long as we stay above this 118.25, the euro still looks very constructive, and it looks actually quite bullish. I mean, look at the weekly chart here, and especially if we start breaking through this 120.50 level, which I believe, if I'm not mistaken, let's go take a look at the euro dollar weekly chart. The 120.50 is previous support from back here in 2012. So keep in mind, this is really huge. I mean, if the euro dollar really breaks out above 121, I mean, we're looking at levels that could take us back into the 130s. So I know it sounds crazy, you know, with the tax plan being passed and the stock market doing so good, but you know, I've seen crazier things happen. So I think you got to keep the bullish outlook in the euro forefront, and keep watching it. Remember, there's a lot of dollar bears that have been caught upside down the last couple of weeks. Another big chart that's huge, especially with all the UK data coming out this week, the pound. Look at this. This is a multi-year trend line. And you know, the pound looks bullish against the dollar, but it looks bullish against a lot of things. I mean, you can look at the pound yen, which is coming up into major resistance. The pound Aussie, pound New Zealand have been extremely strong, and the pound dollar, we broke through a multi-year trend line. That's even pre-Brexit trend line, and you can see we rejected it just earlier earlier this year, just in the beginning of fall, and we rejected. I think it was in October, and now we're actually breaking out. So the pound looks constructive, and it looks extremely bullish. We're just as Stelios Kontogulis often says on our daily webinars, we're just one headline away regarding Brexit into launching the pound dollar much higher. And based on positioning, a pretty big squeeze could actually occur, which could take us near 140 on any big squeeze. So keep that in mind. The pound looks pretty bullish here. Let's take a look at the Aussie with all the RBA decision coming up, and also all the data that's coming out this week. The Aussie dollar has come out of a descending wedge, and we've been capped thus far by this 76.50 level. But if we break through 76.50, the Aussie dollar could very easily recover to 77.50. Just again, coming out of a descending wedge, looks quite bullish here. It hasn't really moved too well thus far, but I think a lot of that has been with the dollar strength that we've seen in the last week or so. But the Aussie really reversed that on Friday, and like I said, a move above 76.50 would be really quite bullish with the Aussie. Now let's take a look at the Canadian also really fast, is because the Canadian, what a massive rejection of this channel high. And if you use ForexAnalytix, if you look at the analysis from on the 30th, the US dollar Canadian is challenging the resistance of the possible channel we have been forming since October, and a break above the highs will face major resistance at the 130 level, but the daily RSI is divergent, which can end up turning the US dollar Canadian lower. That was the end of the day on Thursday, and boy did we turn lower following the jobs report out of Canada. Really strong jobs report. We have now slumped down to really a pretty key support, and really a break below like this 126.50 triggers a bigger double top. So and that could take us down to the low 120s. And remember, if you're talking about the euro possibly breaking out to the upside, the Canadian looks as that vulnerable to breaking to the downside as well. So these are big levels that are being tested, and we just looked at the Aussie that looks like it could break above 76.50. The pound dollar that also looks like it could break above what is it, 134, 135, and maybe take us to 138 to 130, 140. I mean, the dollar looks very, very much at risk. And if you look at the dollar index, the dollar index, we had that inverted head and shoulder pattern, failed breakout, and we're in a down channel right now. And I don't, if the passage of the tax plan can't rally the dollar, if the bullishness in the US stock market can't rally the dollar, if the confidence in President Trump can't rally the dollar, then what is going to rally the dollar? I don't know. And that's the question that everybody in the currency market should be asking right now. The dollar it looks like a wounded puppy. Last but not least, I want to take you really quick over to the S&P, and because this is massive move that we've seen in the S&P. We've been tracking this channel, and this week we broke above the channel. A lot of people call that an overthrow. So if you can see this channel has been containing us really since the beginning of 2017, and here we are at the end of 2017, and we broke above the highs. We're really accelerating, but there's a 261% major golden fib that comes in around 2670. We could be bid up there on Monday. With the passage of the tax plan, there's maybe some news about Michael Flynn and his indictment and his plea bargain, that those headlines could jar the market a little higher because it might have been misrepresented on Friday when the market took a little bit of a spill and came all the way back. So we could rally up to this resistance here, but remember, it's a key fib level, and what's really more at risk is you get to buy the rumor, sell the news. And so if we get up here in the S&P and we end the week lower, which, there's a whole week of data in front of us, but that's something that I think is a risk. Whenever we go above a channel, the risk is if you get a false breakout, then things start to not look so good, because right now it looks bullish, and it looks bullish until proven otherwise. But like I said, if we dip back into the channel, that's not such a good look, and that's something that is always a risk when we pop these overthrows outside of the channel. Anyway, just something that I wanted to bring to your attention, just because it's on my mind, and it's probably it should be on your mind as well. So guys and gals, I want to thank you so much for listening to today's webinar. If you, or this week's webinar, if you found this useful and beneficial and you liked it, please click the like button at the bottom of the YouTube, at the bottom of this video. Click the like button. It keeps us, encourages us to continue to film more videos for you, and also provide the daily free webinars that Dale Pinkert hosts every single day, and which make sure you attend those. And also subscribe to our channel, because this way you'll never miss an interview, or you'll never miss one of these week ahead videos. So thank you so much for listening in. My name is Blake Morrow from ForexAnalytix. Have a great rest of your weekend.